Todd is great and he is always baked. Morning sun shining, we can't be late. Coffee brewing, tunes on the go. Knock knock, it's the Todd and Joe morning show.
So my speaker did it again, Todd.
Nope.
My speaker did it again.
What?
Well, no. So I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear the music?
Yeah, I can hear it now. I switched it back.
Good job.
I heard it.
Yeah.
It was just on my end because earlier, well, no, it was yesterday. I bought a hard drive to back up everything for the podcast on. So I had to unplug where the mic was. And when I plugged it back in, the mic was also reading as the speaker, which is something we figured out on Wrestle Fandom this week after about 10 minutes. So the fact that it took us 10 seconds is awesome.
Yes.
Huge improvement. Like 100 times better.
Welcome to the Todd and Joe morning show this week.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. If you may recognize this from the sexy gentleman on my shirt, Mr.
That's me.
Joe Simons of Joe's Buds, our sponsor. Now, we've been going back and forth with this. I have to ask this question so I can nail it down.
The hard hitters are already starting. Okay.
Is it 4656 or 4658 Onondaga Boulevard?
It's so funny because I heard you talk about that in the last show. So the official address is 4658 Onondaga Boulevard. Okay. Did I put it? Where did you see the 4656?
So I think your website says one and Google says another.
All right, I'll have to double check that.
I'll tell you right now.
Either way, though, it's the same. It's the same plaza.
Exactly. That's what we tell people. It's next to Wegmans. It's behind Limp Lizard. Like it's which is perfect to me because it's like you can go grab your flowers, your edibles, your vapes, whatever. Then you can grab what I assume is probably some delicious food from Limp Lizard. It looks like one of those delicious barbecue joints.
It's good. I can attest. I've been there.
So it's Google that has it wrong.
Okay.
All right. Well, at least it's not me. It would be embarrassing if it was me that put it in wrong.
So let's get into it. You two. We'll get a little intro how you two know each other, and then we'll continue on with the show, and we'll do so. Bangin Bangerz will now be called. Is it AI or is it this guy? And we'll go into that in a minute. But hey, Todd and Joe, Todd and other Joe.
So it's funny. The two pictures you use at the beginning of the opening is actually two kind of time frames that Joe and I know each other from high school. Because that Raid shirt was definitely high school. I don't think I was listening to them in like elementary school. Be crazy, but I don't think I was. The other one I think was from like a prom. So
yeah, you see 9-year-old Todd walking around. Rally run your family with a pocket full of shells.
I think I was 12 when my brother gave me the tape for the first Rage album.
Yeah, I was like 12 or 13 when I started listening to Rage and Biscuit and all that. So that tracks.
So yeah, Joe and I, we went to school together. We've known each other for a while. I mean, Joe
smoked some weed together.
Yeah, smoked a lot of weed together. Probably.
So Joe, what was high school Todd like?
He was probably very similar. I mean, he's always an authentic guy. Like, seemed to have a lot of friends and like kind of a cool guy, but not like sporty or jockish or whatever. But I'd say like he's always been down to earth. One thing I've always liked about him is like like him or not, he is who he is, and I feel like he's the type of guy who's good to the people in his life. Actually, one funny story, as I was thinking about this, I thought maybe this would come up, like how do we know each other? I remember one time in high school I was at a party and I used to sell some weed back in the olden days, and I remember there was...
we've heard a little bit about that, and that kind of inspired your path to part of your current profession. Actually, both of your current profession, right?
Yeah. Hey, if I could have sold weed nonstop, I never would have become a lawyer. I just would have stayed on this trajectory, and I just would have been Joe from Joe's Buds since day one.
Yeah, but something good. I vaguely remember. So
yeah, so this party thing. So I remember one time when I had known Todd for a little while, I remember there was some angry guy that came to this party that wasn't invited, and he was like upset with something. I can't remember what it was because I I don't imagine I would have ripped
I had
somebody
gotten
off.
into a
but
fight with my girlfriend is what had happened.
Something happened.
I found that she was talking to this guy, and like, it really wasn't texting or anything back then, but on AIM, my buddy, he was over at this guy's house and he saved the chat file. So for you kids out there, AIM is AOL Instant Messenger. And that's how we texted, except you had to sit at your computer and you couldn't leave your computer if you were going to have a text conversation. And this guy, his name was Jared. And let me tell you, me and him did not get along. But my friend, God bless his soul, Charles, he's still alive, actually. He saved the file and then he printed it out on paper. And then I had to take the sides off the paper because we're that old. Our paper had the little like spool wheel stuff. And she said, guys, she thought he was cute. That's why I was angry at the party that night. But continue, Joe.
So Todd, without missing a beat, like this guy comes, he's angry, and then Todd's like, let's take care of business. He was like ready to jump in. I mean, thankfully it didn't come to blows, but I just remember like Todd, at that point, I hadn't even really known him all that well. Like we had known each other whenever, and he was like willing to jump in for me, like if something were to go down. And always just something that stuck out in my head as Todd being a good guy and willing to help out his friends and kind of just treat people well. And that's how
He actually thought you were somebody else that night. That's the funny part of the story. He thought you were somebody else. So that's crazy that this like 30-year friendship has all been built on a lie.
He's been meaning to tell me like, oh yeah, I wasn't really gonna get
He just didn't know how to, and we've actually discussed it a few times, and we decided I was gonna break the news for you, but it's been so long, no harm, no foul, right?
Damn, I'm hurt now.
No, I was a punk rock kid, man. I wasn't gonna fucking. No way.
No, but
that's
Todd, I mean,
like a go to arms shit, like punk rock. You don't fuck with people that just don't deserve to be fucked with. Like it's not no. And back in the day, dude, that was the thing too. And like thinking back now, I'm like, yeah, I would have shattered my fucking hand. I think maybe you remember this, Joe. Like I used to wear fucking rings. Like I had fucking rings on every finger except my thumbs. Like skull rings, different type of punk shit, whatever. Because I had chain wallet shit. But granted, think about it now because people are like, oh man, I wouldn't want to get in a fight with you. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, dude, that would have just shattered my fucking hand. Like it would have shattered the person's face, but definitely would have just destroyed my hand. I don't know if I still have those anywhere. Like I think they were
in my mind.
Yeah,
high school Todd is like the Oneana version of Heroin Bob from SLC Punk. Like you're just that guy that like you're gonna stay. But you don't die from an infection at the end or anything. Like no, that's not what. No. Just like that, you had that mentality. I feel like you were like that waving your rebel flag. Fuck you. Like I would have been the guy you hated at first, Todd. But then after like we had a couple classes together, you realize that like, oh, he's not just the job. Oh, he skateboards.
Yeah, like, that was the thing, man. Like I was friends with like, so it was weird. Like I generally still hate a lot of people. Retail made that worse for me.
Oh, I know.
But I get even in high school, like I tried to associate with myself with as many of like the different groups there were, but there was also good reason why if I didn't, it wasn't me just being like, oh fuck them, they're like this. It was like I tried and somebody was a douche, and then I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself, you and your whole clique, like it was that type of shit. Perfect example was we had a party at my buddy's house after, I don't know if you were there for this, Joe, Eric O'Connor, when his dad had like,
oh no, I missed that one.
I don't think I was there, but he was a crazy dude.
This party was fucking epic because like Eric's dad had got remarried and moved out, but Eric still had a key to the house. He hadn't sold the house yet. It was out in like the country. So we're like, we're going to have a fucking party. We'll keep it in the basement, blah, blah, blah. We went around, told the neighbors, we're like, hey, if it gets too loud, here's a cell phone number. This was when cell phones were just, these, not the Zach Morris cell phone, but not what we have today.
It was Nokia. It was the fucking
Back when you had to
brick.
pay,
Yep.
you had to pay for the texts back then.
Exactly. Yes. So,
And you didn't call anybody till after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So we went around. Hey, if it's too loud, the one dude, who was a janitor at our school, he lived across the street. We're like, hey man, we're gonna have a party if it's too loud. He's like, you know what I'm gonna say to you if it's too loud? We're like, oh fuck. And he's a big dude. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, just turn it up louder. We're not gonna be home. So you're like, cool. So we have this fucking massive keg party, and there was these two girls there that were like more of like the yuppies, I guess, if you will. And
Really
obviously
hot.
everybody knew I was a fucking stoner. So these girls were standing in front of me as I was smoking a cigarette, and all they kept saying, oh, I really smoke a joint. I can really smoke a joint right now. You know, because people that don't smoke weed usually just say shit like that. So I'm like, oh, you know, I don't got a joint, but I'll smoke a bowl with you guys. Okay, you know, so we smoke, blah, blah, blah. Party goes on. We fucked that house up, like, bad. Like, Eric got arrested. Eric's father had him arrested for destruction of personal property for that
Damn.
party.
At
Like,
your own house.
yeah, because Eric was back at his house, which was right down the street from my house, like, less than a week later, and he's just chilling, and somebody knocks on the door. He opens the door, it's the fucking sheriff. And Eric's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, hey, are you Eric O'Connor? He's like, yep. He's like, all right. He's like, I feel that this is ridiculous and that you and your father could settle this. He was like, but he was like, unfortunately, I had to do my job. He's like, I have to place you under arrest for destruction of personal property at your father's house. Well, Eric's laughed and he's like, okay. Like he didn't put up a fight. He went with the dude. You know, it was in the fucking paper and shit. Like, we tried to keep it in the basement, but it got upstairs. There were windows broken, holes in the walls. Somebody took a whole like planter and put it in the toilet. Like the brown or the white carpet was now brown because it was like wintertime and shit. People were insane, you know, regardless. So the two girls I smoked with, who again were like yuppies, you know, we're talking to me and shit like that. I see them in school on like Monday and like say hi to them, and fucking they just like looked the fucking other way and just kept walking. I'm like, all right, yeah, fuck you.
Wow.
So, but again, I give people a chance, and you know, once you prove that you're a douchebag to me, then yeah, okay, see you later. Like you know, I was friends with some of the jocks, and most of them not so much.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yes,
I kind
Joe,
of felt
you're
the
right.
same way. I felt the same way. Like, you know, I wasn't really part of one crew necessarily. Like I had friends from different aspects of high school, and I felt like, I don't know if that's universal, but in Oneonta, at least at the time that we went, I felt like there wasn't this barriers between cliques as much as you know see on TV and movies. So
No.
and one thing that they probably don't have anymore is during lunchtime we'd go out and smoke weed, and everybody knew it. Like all the teachers must have known. We'd come back smelling like weed, and it was just
Weed and
like
cigarettes.
weed
Yeah.
and cigarettes, and it was a known thing. People would just hang out openly. I can't imagine it's a
Like
thing
honestly,
anymore.
like I had a very, very similar experience. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like the thing that truly kind of overlapped the cliques and brought the cliques together was weed. Like, because so I went to RFA, I went to Rome, and it's tore down now, but the old RFA had the old building, and then there was a new building, and there was a bridge on the second floor that connected the two buildings. And on the very corner of the new building, they had this mural of Bob Marley and Jimi Hendrix. And like all the black kids would hang out in the corner in between classes. But like that's where you got your bud from. So like you'd be walking, you'd see the one, yo, what up, man? Boom. And that school was an open campus. So you were allowed to leave for lunch. There was a smoking area in the back, and like it's in the dead center of the city. And anybody who's lived in Rome, New York, it has alleys. The way it was designed is every block there's an alley that cuts each block in half. So like you have a million spots to kind of duck in and get fucking stoned at. So that's kind of like that's what we used to do. It was, you know, lunch was 4th, 5th, and 6th, like depending on which one you'd have. We'd skip 4th, go get stoned, come back for the end of 4th, have a lunch. 5th lunch was our lunch, eat that. go out, smoke again, come back for 6th period lunch, or I would go to biology. I just remember it was bio. I don't know how I fucking passed it. But like Bud was really what brought us all together, that made us all hang out, that why everybody went to the same parties and stuff. And we had a fairly large school. Like our school had over 400 graduating. Like,
Oh, it's a lot bigger than I think we had like probably 150-ish per class.
Yeah, 200, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
It was
so like
it was bad.
it was a fair, and like I hung out with everybody from like, because I was involved in everything. Like I played sports, but I took all the art classes. I used to like write raps and like do freestyle stuff with, and I skateboarded and all that stuff. So I was into everything. So I was friends with everybody. So it like my high school experience, I enjoyed high school, but like I said, like Todd would have been the kid who didn't like me at first because of the way I dressed, because he's an asshole and he's a racist and he hates yuppies. Like, who says yuppies? This isn't 16 Candles. They're preps.
Listen, no, they're yuppie shitbags. That's what I always called people like that. We're yuppie shitbags.
So with that, we'll go into the first. What is it, AI or is it this guy? That's what I called it, right?
Yes.
I love how you can't remember the name of your own shit.
What, are you smoking too much weed?
Yikes.
Can you really smoke too much weed?
All
don't
right,
think
so
so.
here is the first one. You guys can hear it?
Yep.
When the weather's right in the summer, we all get together with one another. Calling all the cousins, sisters, mothers, and brothers. Dad's at the grill, save me one motherfucker. Barbecue and beer, barbecue and beer. Throw one back for those who ain't here. Beer and barbecue, beer and barbecue. These are the days that always stick with you. Kids playing catch, chilling by the pool. Everyone is here, everyone's feeling cool. Light up the green, bring out the cards. We've all grown up so much, but haven't gone far. Barbecue and beer, barbecue and beer. Throw one back for those who ain't here. Beer and barbecue, beer and barbecue. These are the days that always stick with you.
The kids grow up fast, faster than you think. Wish you would've slowed down, sipped on your drink. As you reflect and think about the years, if all was Jan and Denver, throw the barbecues and beers.
Barbecue and beer, barbecue and beer. Throw one back for those who ain't here. Beer and barbecue, beer and barbecue. These are the days that always stick with you. Barbecue and beer,
Now I'm hungry.
barbecue and beer.
I'm confused on that
that's
one
the
line
first
about
one.
Denver. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did Denver come from? What does Colorado have to do with any of this?
Maybe they have good barbecue and beer.
That's true.
All right.
Is it time?
So, hit it, Todd.
Todd News, where the useless news comes first.
Do we have a world record? Do we have a world record? Please tell me we have a. Oh, two! Yeet, yeet. Let's go!
Before, I meant to see if I could find this. Hold on quick. I'm not going to be able to. Damn it.
I feel like your volume just went down.
It's probably because I moved away from the microphone. Am I still quiet?
A little bit.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. I don't know what that is going to be, so we'll find out. All right. Yeah. So, Joe Simons, when I do TI news, I've noticed that most of it is world record shit. Whether I want it to be or not, it just seems to be some of the weirder shit because honestly, people are setting just world records for crap that just doesn't make sense. And Like this one. is
Like all the
perfect.
time.
Yeah, it's actually more consistent than people realize. Like it's not just
Like people are going out of their way. Like it'd be like, I have drank the most Poland Springs bottle of water on a Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 2:10 p.m. in the year 2025. Like,
Oh,
there was
if,
one. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if those are the limits, you can pretty much, your
what
creativity is the
people are
limit
doing.
of how you can just create your own world record. And maybe you should create the most world records doing stupid shit like this.
So somebody did that actually.
Yeah, that was actually we did that the other couple weeks ago. We talked about
2
this
weeks ago.
that-
Some guy,
Yeah,
the most world records in a year.
he literally.
And
was
then the
doing, like, one a
following
week.
year broke his own world record.
That's what I mean. It's got, now that I'm doing this more and we're doing them on the show, like it's like, holy fuck, yeah, people are like, somebody was like, it was a world record for like drinking lime juice through a straw the fastest, and it was like a fucking liter. I think it was like drinking a liter of lime
Yes, it
juice
was a
through
liter,
a straw the fastest.
And then they did lemon juice also.
I mean, first of all, why are you fucking subjecting yourself to that kind of hell torture? You know, like unless you have no taste buds, like that is a nightmare. I can only imagine. Just to
Yeah, like
chug.
who are they doing this for? Just their own personal satisfaction? Or are they
Because
going
they
to a bar
can-
and being
they
like,
can-
"Hey, what's up, baby? I got a world record."
Open it up, bring the plaque with them. Yeah, bitch, I could drink lemon and lime juice in a record amount of time.
They get it like
Why?
made into like a chain. So they just
Oh,
come
yeah.
around like a big blinged out.
Flavor
Yeah.
shit.
I got the world record for most ants stepped on in a 30-second period on Wednesdays. Want to go?
All right.
Live around the corner.
So here was an experienced circus performer from Colombia broke a Guinness World Record when he juggled 5 balls for 45 minutes while doing a headstand.
Well, I've seen Todd do it with 10 balls technically. So
Jose Valencia, 34, said he spent years practicing the trick before making an official attempt at the Guinness World Records title for longest duration juggling 5 balls while performing a headstand. Again, going back to people are just doing ridiculous shit now. I had worked so hard so many years, and this is the time that my work paid off. Valencia told Guinness World Records. He performs with the Loomis Circus, which is currently touring Europe. So see, that's kind of not fair to be like, hey, my profession is kind of this.
All my years of hard work finally paid off. That is the actual quote from this guy. He spent years, he's years standing on his head, juggling 5 balls. Like, what?
This dude's got to have the strongest neck muscles in the world, like on his head. Like, I have so many questions. How do you balance? Like, if you're using your hands, he's got to be just on his head. Like, is he leaning on something?
Actually, so what the story doesn't say, he's hung like an elephant trunk, and he actually like hooks it up. So it kind of, he's almost like hanging there, but his head's there because obviously it would hurt his, his wiener a little bit more if he was actually suspended. But it actually like kind of works as like a guide wire. Like they have them telephone poles that make sure it's locked in. Yeah. He calls it nacho.
He calls it nacho
because it's cheese.
Jesus
Get it?
Christ.
And like, how many hours a day is this guy practicing this? Like all this hard work.
5 hours and 35 minutes a day, he said.
Can he it's like, can he do it during work? Like, since he works for the circus, like, is that something he's allowed time to do? Or does he have to do it on his own time? So is he doing circus shit for work and then doing unpaid circus shit? Like,
no, it's actually a federally funded program for circus performers to help get them earn other skills so they can get higher on the pay scale in the circus job area.
I'm really glad because I was worried my tax money wasn't going to good causes. So I'm really happy.
No.
We got something positive here.
Yeah. Headstands and juggling.
I think Democrat, Republican, Independent. I think we can all agree that this is a good use of our tax money.
This is going to stop World War III from happening.
Absolutely.
This
yeah,
is a
people are gonna be
nuclear deterrent.
entertained. They're in awe. They're you know, they don't have time to be angry with each other when you get so much.
He is a
joy
nuclear
coming.
deterrent, guys.
All right, this next one I don't like, and I don't know if I found what I was looking for in the sound effects. And it's also just kind of creepy. An Australian reptile wrangler was called to a home on a report of snake sightings. I hate snakes. And ended up leaving after 3 hours with 102 venomous serpents in tow. I gotta see what this was supposed to be.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Indeed.
Yep. Which just, I was like, oh. David Steen spotted what he estimated to be 6 red-bellied black snakes in a mulch pile on his property in Horsley Park, Sydney suburbs. I was shivering and shaking at the time I saw them, Steen told The Guardian. Then my wife Googled and found that snakes congregate like that when they're ready to give birth. Stein contacted Reptile Relocation Sydney, and snake catcher Dylan Cooper arrived at the home. Cooper found 5 adult snakes, 4 of which were carrying eggs, and soon discovered dozens of babies. He was just uncovering baby after baby after baby. It was just totally amazing, and I couldn't believe it, Stein said.
I'm just imagining that scene from Indiana Jones. Like,
in the Ark scene?
ugh. I don't do reptiles. I don't do snakes, amphibians. If it's scaly, it's not my thing.
Yeah. I'm good with like turtles and shit, but
Turtles aren't as scaly and they don't move fast.
No. So the owner of the Reptile Relocation Sydney said the number initially told about 40, and then more baby snakes started to hatch. There were 40 snakes, then 70, then 90. The business said in a Facebook post that the final tally was 102 snakes, 5 adults, and 97 newborns.
Wow. God, can you imagine the child support on that?
Right?
Sheesh.
All right, 2 more. This one's funny. So in case you guys want to.
Was that a world record?
That was not. This is
No.
not one, but the last one is a world record, which it is, again, going back to the dumbest shit ever people are setting world records for. That's what this last one will be. But first of all, let's go to the Memphis Zoo in Tennessee, where it's celebrating Valentine's Day by giving fans the chance to send cute red panda video to their sweethearts or a video of an elephant pooping to their exes.
This is brilliant.
The zoo announced its dating or dumping promotion allows followers to exchange a donation of $10 for a video to pass along as a Valentine's Day gift. The options are an adorable video of a red panda munching on a grape or a stinky video of an elephant poop hitting the pile. Got an ex that deserves a stinking surprise? This Valentine's, let an elephant do the talking. Or maybe you found the one you want to send them something adorable. Our red pandas have you covered, the zoo said on its website. The zoo said on social media, the elephant poop videos are going for more than just exes, or good for more than just exes.
Oh, it's a great way to break up, but you're dumping somebody.
Yeah.
While the elephant's dumping. Oh my God.
Oh. Can you imagine, like, on Valentine's Day, receiving a video of an elephant taking a shit?
You'd be so confused. Like, what?
I'd be like, what the fuck? Wait. Oh.
No context, no nothing. Just
oh. So
the last one.
Joe.
What's up?
I got a question for Joe.
Yeah.
Do it out.
Have you ever dealt with anything like that? Like any kind of case where a vindictive ex or anything?
Oh, that's a good question. Not with poop, but I did have one time where a girl got so upset during a breakup that she took all of her boyfriend's clothes, put them in a pile, and peed all over them. And so she ended up getting arrested for, I think it was like destruction of property and something else like that. But she destroyed.
I wonder if she met my friend Eric O'Connor.
Yeah, I mean, it was just bizarre, and like, yeah, she couldn't really explain why she did it, and just destroyed his stuff. I actually have a case right now. I can't say too much like about it, but I can say she also like destroyed a bunch of stuff, not pee or poop, but just like went through this guy's apartment and just took everything she could put her hands on and just like ripped important papers and just destroyed everything. And no poop stuff yet, but hopefully someday.
You know what? You never know. That stuff can be real sneaky. All right, hit us with the last one, Todd.
Last one. Fucking dumbass world record again. A Georgia city announced it is seeking at least 5,191 kazoo players to attend its annual festival and break a Guinness World Record. First of all, you should never have that many kazoo players near each other, ever. I feel like this might open up like a portal to hell. Or
wait, has this happened yet?
Organizers at the 2025 International Cherry Bloom Festival at the Atrium Health Amphitheater in Macomb announced this year's event will feature an attempt to break a Guinness World Record for the largest kazoo ensemble. The current record of 5,190 kazoo players was set in London in 2011. They only want one more. Like, if you're gonna break the record, at least go a little bit more like gusto. Like, why you be like, oh, they had 5,100.
Go.
We're gonna do 5,000. I don't have money to go to fucking Georgia,
dude. We'll go to Georgia,
and I don't.
I can go see
5,000.
What is this scheduled for? Because if it's during baseball season, I can go see a Braves game. Like
March 28th.
No.
It will be led by. Now, here's this for a fucking title that is, I don't know, somewhat embarrassing in my opinion. It'll be led by kazoo expert Rick Hubbard.
Can you be a professional kazooist? Like, can you even play songs? I thought they were just like kids' toys.
Well, let's go find out, guys.
The only time I've ever heard it done well was on Eric Clapton Unplugged. They do a song called San Francisco Bay Blues, and during part of it, they all play kazoos. And it doesn't sound bad, and it's Eric Clapton, so he gets a pass. But even at the end of the song afterwards, you hear him say laughingly, "Never again."
This is the type of record that I'm actually impressed with. Just the fact, not even the kazoo part, but corralling over 5,000 people to get into one place. Like, it's hard to get like a group of friends together sometimes to get 5,000 something people. Like, I don't know that one. And then the earlier guy, like, I feel like these are actually pretty reasonable compared to the drinking lime juice stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
It's not having access to 1 million industrial grade products that's so amazing. It's the feeling of knowing you'll find the one you
Granger owes money now.
On kazoo.
Oh.
Don't run, jump, or dance while playing the kazoo. Thanks.
Ouch! Oh, hi.
You fine.
Wait a minute. Who are you? I'll tell you a secret. Sometimes I get a little quiet when I meet lots of new kids. You know what? I think we're going to be
That's
friends.
all I needed to see. It is a musical instrument, and it is amazing.
And you become super cool as soon as you start playing.
Yeah, dude.
Sometimes
Everybody
I'm a
flags
quiet
you.
kid.
Damn.
That's what women really want. They don't want somebody that can, fucking shred on the guitar. They want somebody who
You guys
can blow on the
continue. I
kazoo.
gotta call.
Oh, he's got a call.
I know. Now I'm kind of inspired. I kind of want a kazoo. Although I'm married, so maybe I don't want to, you take that out and the ladies just start come rushing in. I probably can't do
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you have a newborn. Do you want to put them on the kazoo path right away? Or do you want to, let them get a little older and so they can, choose if they want to go down that kazoo path, in a career? It's
a lot of responsibility, too.
It is.
I don't think to be able to just handle that sort of power once you put the kazoo to your lips. Yeah, I think I'd probably want to hold off.
See, there might be another group that might just be a step above them. And I think we were all part of this group at one point in time, the recorder players.
Oh,
recorder. That's a right there. So now I know, like I said, you have a new week old.
Yeah, just a
baby,
week
right?
last Friday.
So. Congrats.
Thank you.
And you have 2 other children, correct? Yes.
No, I actually have
One.
5 now. This is my
5. Holy shit, Joe.
I know. It's
Wait, you have
crazy.
5 kids?
Now I do, as of a week ago.
Bro, it's called a condom.
So
I know. Don't smoke weed, kids.
does that still happen? Are recorders still a thing?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a daughter that when in 4th grade, she had to learn recorder.
Did it give
a
you
little concert.
PTSD? Like
And my youngest has to learn it this year.
Oh shit!
What grade?
4th.
Yep, 4th grade. It's
a
the grade.
4th grade thing. That's so wered.
And then you go to the concert at the end of the year, and they play these hot cross
buns, hot cross buns.
And they practice it all year long.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
yeah, Joe.
Wait.
We determined the recorder players are a step above the kazoo players when it comes to.
I agree, because with the recorder, it's more of a refined, specific sound. Where with kazoo, it's more about your emotion and energy, and it's not so much how well you play the kazoo; it's how you play the kazoo. Nobody wants to see a kazoo player just standing there going. Like, you saw the kazoo kid, he was like, yeah.
But that video highly was against dancing and moving around while playing the kazoo.
But he's the kazoo kid, man. It's like
Are you
Captain
trying
America.
to say be a rebel? Be a rebel.
All right, what's next? Do you guys want me to do the other song now? So they're both kind of.
Yeah, do it up.
Yeah.
So here's song number Deuce. Share screen. I think it's this one. Should be this one, maybe. Nope. So I will exit out of that.
Come on.
My bad. My bad, dog.
You know. We're always so on top of everything. You're fucking it up.
Shut your mouth.
The sun is shining, laughter fills the air, kids are running, it's a lively affair, the burger sizzling on the grill, oh what a sight, memories made, as the day turns to night, take a moment, cherish every sound, together we stand, where love knows nets bound. Living in the now, time is on our side. Family and friends, our hearts full of pride. Let's lift a glass to what we hold dear. For remember this barbecue year after year.
Feel like an Irish folk song.
Kinda.
Splashing in
sentimental.
So carefree and bright, every smile surrounded by the warm summer light, thinking of the one
like a montage on a 90s show.
Day, wishing they could join us in this beautiful play. Life moves fast, but these moments are gold. Hold on tight, let the stories unfold. Living in the now, time is on our side. Family and friends, our hearts full of pride. Let's lift a glass to what we hold dear. We'll remember this barbecue year after year. As the sun sets, we gather around in love and laughter. Forever we're bound.
All right.
Woo.
So, Joe, you're our guest, so you're going to guess whose was AI and whose was this guy, and then Todd will, and the winner gets a high five.
All right. I'm going to guess that this song we just listened to was this guy, and then the first one was AI.
All right. Todd.
See, that's funny because I'm going the complete opposite. I feel like that song seemed a little more AI, but the voice could have thrown me off too because that seemed very generic TikTok voiceover voice. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that could be the deterrent, and why am I thinking that? But yeah, I'm flipping it. I want to say the first song was Mr. Joe, and the second one was AI.
All right. So there will be a clear-cut winner. Drum roll, please.
I wish I had a drum roll.
Todd guessed it correctly. The first one.
I thought it was going to be that too, but then I actually thought maybe it's a trick because the second one seemed a little more like, not like you from what I know of you on the podcast. But I thought, oh, maybe you're trying to trick me and have a little more like a sentimental.
So there was a clear-cut giveaway that the first one was mine because apparently my spell check did not work and changed the word to Denver.
Yes.
Denver was not the lyric, and I didn't realize it until I'm like, fuck. They're going to be able to tell.
Like, fucking Denver.
And then I'm like, maybe they'll just not notice.
Or
and
maybe
it said Denver. It said Denver, guys. And I'm like, motherfucker, shut up, Todd. Todd.
Shit. Listen.
But that would have been a perfect, like, AI does some weird shit sometimes. So it could have been like thrown in there.
That's true. Oh, yeah, I like that. That was fun.
So, Todd, you are now undefeated and have guessed 100% correctly of AI or this guy.
So Todd's
Joe,
got a
you
world
suck.
record then.
I do have a world
That's
record.
Todd is
Fuck
world
yeah.
record.
God
The
give
only
us
guy.
common bitches. I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Technically,
And
I got a
Joe
world record
has the
too,
world
'cause I'm-
record for kids.
So, Joe, as we mentioned earlier, obviously you are the owner of Joe's Buds, but you live in Massachusetts, where you
I do.
practice something that is, in some states, the complete opposite, in a way, of cannabis.
What,
So
the
you
law?
are a lawyer, which is, like us growing up with it being illegal until a certain point. It's like kind of funny to me in a way, not like, haha, this is hilarious, but like, hey, a lawyer owns a cannabis shop. Like, because if you said that to somebody 15 years ago, they'd be like, yeah, oh, okay, sure, that's gonna happen.
Right.
But how did you get to the path of in life where you were like, I want to be a lawyer? Like, I want to do this.
Yeah, I never wanted to be a lawyer. Like, I never even thought of being a lawyer. In high school, I was kind of I fucked around. And actually, I towards the end of high school, I just stopped really going to classes, and I'd go to the parking lot and go to, see my friends and skip school and whatever. So I had no intentions to even go to college. I played music, and I thought it'd be cool to, be a musician. I played in some bands. And when I was 19, I had gotten arrested. So I got it. I was driving home. I went to the bars downtown. Todd, as you know, the Black Oak was one of the places, and you could go there with a fake ID fairly easily. So I went with a buddy, and we came home, and I was going up Winnie Hill Road, which, if you don't know, it's like the boondocks, and you're way out of town, kind of going on these twisty roads. And I remember, like, I was kind of tipsy, but not so much. I looked down, changed the radio, and then all of a sudden I overcorrected and like flipped the car. And thankfully, me and my friend were both okay. But anyway, I had a little bit of cocaine, a little bit of weed in the car, and it took like 5 or 10 minutes for the cops to come. Somebody must have called them and said there was an accident, because we were kind of standing around like, what the fuck just happened? Are you okay? Whatever. Anyway, long story short, I got arrested. I ended up going to court the next day. I had a public defender who told me, I could probably get you like 6 months in jail. And I remember thinking, like, this is crazy. The guy never even asked me anything, or never even like told me how we might try to fight the case. And my parents ended up hiring a lawyer, Bill Shebaum, in town. And, eventually I avoided jail time. He told me to go to chemical dependency and get some treatment and all that stuff. And anyway, during this whole process, it opened my eyes to the fact that people are going to jail for marijuana, and people are going to jail for other drugs, but like non-violent drug offenses. And it just struck a chord with me that I didn't think anyone should go to jail for that, no matter what the drug is. If we're going to try to do something to help society, then let's get these people treatment or do some other path. And so that got me interested enough that I decided, well, one, I got to do something with my life. So I decided to get my GED and go to college. And then two, I just thought, this is something that I feel really passionate about, that I'd like to be able to try to help people and maybe have some sort of impact on the law itself. And thankfully, marijuana is now legal in Massachusetts and New York. But people still do go to jail for a lot of nonviolent drug offenses, and I think it doesn't really serve us well or them well in terms of trying to prevent harm to the communities that people are in. So that's how I ended up here.
So you actually, I'm not being funny by saying this. I'm being you actually became a lawyer because you wanted to help people. Where, as we know, I think anymore now, back in the day, I think a lot of people didn't, but like even with doctors, like I think a lot of people become lawyers and doctors anymore because they're just like, oh, it's money. I can fucking make a lot of money. So like you actually experienced something that was like, hey, you know what? Fuck the system, but let's do it in a legal manner. Let's actually help people out and not let them get screwed over by the system. So it's nice to see that, because honestly, man, it's a lot of people are so about money anymore. Like, it's nice to see that somebody was like, you know what? No, like, I want to help people. Like, I'm not just here like that fucking, public offender. Well, we'll get you 6 months in jail. Like, that dude.
Yeah.
That dude was just doing his job. So like, kudos to you, because like, that's awesome, because there are so many people that really do need that help. Like, I wish when I got arrested when I was in fucking high school, like, I wish you were my lawyer, because it would have been probably a whole other fucking, story that went down then. Not that my lawyer at that time was bad, but I felt like he was one of like the anti-pot kind of guys. And, like that made it not like a comfortable, like trying to talk to him kind of situation about like everything. So
no, I appreciate that. I mean, I think it's nice for me to be able to, like, I understand what people are going through, and I feel like I kind of like, it makes me want to work harder, I guess, to just not just go through the motions and like, all right, well, this is how these cases usually go. I feel like I tend to dig a little deeper. And I'll say this, as somebody who didn't have lawyers in their family or anything, I did think that it would be like easier. It's turned out to be like, it's a lot of work actually. And I feel like I'm constantly like on, and even in the shower or driving down the street, I'm like thinking like, all right, I got this case coming up. Like how am I going to craft my defense? So it's kind of stressful because I got a lot of, responsibility on me, but I think it's rewarding. And even though it's not exactly how I pictured it, I do feel a lot of,
so like,
I'm thankful.
I pictured that whole story you just told, like, shot like a movie, like, car wreck, stand on the side of the road, and then I'm picturing like this like sleazy kind of old, unhealthy, looks like he smokes a pack a day, overweight lawyer. Hey kid, I think you could probably get you 6 months. And you're like, what? And then like it's a montage of like you and your parents getting the real lawyer, you getting out, and then it's like you studying in the library, like all the books, like getting to go to law school, and I'm picturing all that in my head, and then it's you walking into the courtroom, and then the actual movie starts, or whatever case the movie is about, because the law hurt you, so you're here to hurt it back.
I'm avenging the law.
You are the lawyer.
I like it. That's a perfect montage. I think that's exactly how it happened. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me just tell my dog to be quiet.
No, you good, bud.
So I have a.
Sorry, I'm good.
No, you're good.
Peter, he gets a little excited.
What kind of dog is it?
Yeah, he's a golden doodle. He's like a permanent toddler. He's 4 years old, but he's like just gets really excited.
Yeah, that's how my dog is too. So I have done, last week we did a thing called Things You Don't Want to Say During Sex. I did a podcast many, 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 many years ago. If you ever want to look it up for anybody, it's terrible, but it's called 9 Squirrels and a Catfish. And it's terrible. If I haven't told you, it's fucking terrible. So I found something else from there when I was going through my studio cleaning and shit. And I was like, this is funny too. And it's kind of how like I do a marijuana spin on every name I choose. I have something today that might get a good laugh called Funny Porn Names. That's right. Holy shit, there's a dog up here. I didn't even see him fucking come in. You just scared the crap out of me, man. You just scared the crap out of me.
So Joe, what would have your porn name been? Your middle name and street you grew up on.
Oh, okay. Brian Jackson.
Brian Jackson. That
Sounds more like just a
very
regular
generic.
dude. Yeah.
Mine would have been Rob Maple.
Mine's just stupid because I lived on a fucking county highway.
Todd's got the trailer park porn name.
Yeah. I'm fucking Michael County Highway 47.
Dude, in the trailer park, that is like Brad fucking Pitt, dog. Like...
All right. So this is like funny porn names of like movies. Like, so if you were like scanning through like a section
real ones
of DVDs, yeah, kind of like, well, I don't know if they're real, but just funny takeoffs of names like Sorest Rump.
Ooh.
When Harry Ate Sally. Romancing the Bone.
Ooh.
We got Swallow Hal.
Ooh.
Dude, where's my HIV test?
Whoa.
28 dicks later. We got Ass Ventura, Pet My Rectum.
Oh, that's good too.
Grand Theft Anal. This one's a good one. Ass Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Brown Eye. George and Her Jungle. We got Tits of Fury, A Tale of Two Titties, Little Oral Annie, Space Jam, and the last one is Free My Willie.
Some of those are pretty descriptive, but that Little Oral Annie makes me think if you watch it, you're probably going to end up being a client of mine for a bad
For some reason, I see Little Oral Annie taking place in a back alley in fucking Bangkok. Like, $2. You call me Annie.
You call me Annie. Oh shit!
But the name is really Alan, I think, and he just tucks it behind.
Oh god, that's great.
Oh shit.
Oh fuck, man. Oh, so yeah, we got Carlin Quotes. But the other thing I actually have wondered. I mean, it's awesome that you opened up the store. You have phenomenal products and all that. But what made you choose New York instead of Massachusetts? It's legal in both.
Yeah, it's legal in both. And it did cross my mind to try something here in Massachusetts. But our families are still in New York, so we still visit. I mean, it's Oneonta and the surrounding area that we, typically go to. But so I don't know. New York's always felt like home. I've always thought in my head, like, it would be nice to go sort of back and be there. I didn't know this opportunity would arise, so I had established a career and family stuff here, but I don't know. I think Syracuse specifically was a place that I always liked. I visited growing up. I remember going, like, used to be the Carousel Mall. Now it's Disney USA, and going with my dad to see the Syracuse Chiefs. He's a big sports fan, and I just, I thought it was a great place. And so once marijuana was legalized and people were able to sell it, I even in Massachusetts, like probably 10 years ago, I thought, like, yeah, I really want to do this. The time wasn't right in Massachusetts when it was earlier on. Now it's kind of, established, so it'd be hard to come into the market. So when New York came open, I was like, you know what? It's probably now or never. If I'm going to do it, I'll go all in. I'll, invest everything I got, try to make it work. And I know our Todd and I have a high school buddy who has a place in Oneonta, but I was thinking I'd wanted something a little bit bigger than Oneonta. So I thought of a few places like Albany or Binghamton or Syracuse. And again, I like Syracuse. I think it's great. And it's got, good amount of people. It's diverse. It's, there's a lot going on for sort of a non-major city. And so, so I landed on Syracuse, found a great spot. And I'm trying to synthesize coming back and forth because it's definitely a trek, but at least when I do go, I get to see my parents, and it's a good
Right.
reason to sort of visit the hometown and get some cold cheese pizza while I'm at it.
So the funny thing, I've partied in Oneonta one time. My ex-wife went to Oneonta College, and we went down there for a concert. It was like the year after she graduated, and I actually got to have cold cheese pizza when we went out that night. Now, my question for you is, how much more of an undertaking was it to start the dispensary than like what you thought? Because so being a lawyer, like, yeah, you know a little probably more than the average Joe, no pun intended, about like the business and legalities, but like just to up and start your own business, especially that focuses on something that's still fairly new, that everything's kind of murky on what you can and can't do. How much more of an undertaking was that than you thought it was going to be?
It was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I my only experience with like legitimate business is being a lawyer, and then I have a small firm, and I got a couple people that work for me, so I have a little bit of knowledge of business, but that's pretty much it. I thought, you get the permits, you do what you got to do, but there's so much more. Like even filling out the applications, I did the first one completely on my own. There's an initial application, and then once you get selected, then you have to do another one. And I ended up hiring a lawyer, a New York lawyer that specializes in cannabis law, because even as a lawyer, it's just so outside of my specialty, like just crossing the T's, dotting the I's. And so it's been a lot. And then also even the investment and everything. I mean, it's pretty much just, I'm all in. Like I thought it would be a little bit easier, but there's a lot more overhead than just when you're buying weed in high school, then bagging it up and selling it. There's a lot more things, like there's insurance and there's payroll, and it's hard to name everything, but it's a little more of an undertaking than I realized it would be. But it's been great, and I thankfully I found a great manager who's been on it from before the start. Jeff, really runs it on boots on the ground, and then he and I are just constantly in touch. And we've got a good group of people. I think one of the goals was just trying to get some people who would be knowledgeable and welcoming, because you can buy weed a lot of places. There's going to be a lot of dispensaries. There already are popping up a lot. And I thought one thing that I wanted to focus on is not just selling good products, but just having a comfortable place and hopefully convenient. And, people like to be there and feel comfortable.
Well, that's the thing. So it's weed. Like it should be that. Like, and there are dispensaries that people are either, the bud tenders don't have any knowledge, or they're fucking, saying shit they, shouldn't be saying, or, giving out false information, or just making it feel like, like I'm in a weed dispensary. Should it be all people like Brian from Half Baked? Like, no, because that would just get a little fucking monotonous after a while. But, like it should be, like kind of a laid back people, happy, smiling. You work for, you sell weed. Like you should be fucking happy as shit, like that's a fucking dream job for most of us that grew up when it was not legal. So it is nice. And then, when my girlfriend and I went out to the store the other day or a couple weeks ago, drop off the posters and such, like, two girls were fantastic. They were super friendly, like they were just fun. It was like talking to somebody you like, not like a best friend, but somebody you kind of knew, like catching up with somebody, like, hey, how's it going? Da, da, da. Like it wasn't just a business thing. It wasn't just, oh, you want this? Okay, here you go. See you later. Like it was nice to be like, hey, like I can just kind of talk to you like a person. You're not talking to me like I'm just a customer, like,
right.
Hey, oh, my girlfriend wants some green crack. Oh, do you want it from, this vendor or this vendor, and it wasn't just an assumption of, well, they must want it from them, where, it wasn't. So, no, it is nice to have that, especially, like I said, I worked in retail for 20 fucking years. Like I've seen people that, go to work and, whether they love their job or not, they're always friendly and shit. And you can tell the difference when a customer goes through, or you can see the people that are there miserable as piss. And, the customer, or we've all dealt with it, you go through and cashier doesn't say two fucking words to you. We don't need to have an hour-long conversation, but hey, how's it going? How you doing? Find everything, the normal shit. Like, that's cool.
Like even as a customer, I feel obligated to do that. Like, hey, how's it going? Da, 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 da. Like as a human being, like I'm not just gonna like
Yeah.
transaction. Like, we're not fucking robots.
I know. I prefer to go to a place with like a cashier. If I go to the grocery store and so many places are self-checkout, like, I don't know, it just is kind of a nice interaction, even just a minute sort of back and forth sometimes, you know, just brightens your day a little bit.
That's become the issue, unfortunately. Like, I've always felt like technology is good and bad. We kind of grew up, Joe, Joe Stone's there. He's a couple years younger than us. But for the most part, we all grew up in the same generation-ish of watching technology evolve, not have it be part of our daily life. So we are the old school of when we used to go to the store, there was no self-checkout. You always dealt with a person. You always had that interaction. You saw your parents do that interaction, like it was just something that was kind of imprinted on you. But now and obviously you're going to have like, the old school people still like pass that on to their children, but there has become a gap where now kids have seen their parents become too dependent on technology. Oh, you can just pay for a Walmart thing and get all your groceries delivered. Like, you don't have, or hey, there's 18 self-checkouts. You don't have to talk to somebody. And it does, like Joe said, almost become robots because human interaction is like slowly like starting to fucking drift away because technology now to me has been cool to see the evolution of the computer, of the gaming system, of the internet, like fuck yeah, to be like, hey, we lived before the internet existed. I remember my first computer had a fucking C prompt and that was it because Windows didn't exist, like. But now it's just like technology has become like too much. It's become too.
It has absolutely created a disconnect. I was talking to somebody about this a couple days ago. Like when we were kids, like if we were going to play video games, it was like 3 or 4 of us huddled around a little TV in the bedroom playing GoldenEye like this. And then after so long of having to let's go outside and play catch. Let's go outside and ride bikes. So you were constant inside and outside. You don't see that outside too much. Like I'll go outside with my kids in the summertime, and I know there's other kids around the neighborhood, but it's few and far between. I remember in the summertime, from the time we got up till the time we came home, like we were boom, boom. And that, so my question about the dispensary, I haven't had the chance to go out there yet. So what's the setup like? Todd, you've been there the most recently. So like you get there, I'm at the door. What's the experience you had when you walked in?
You get there, you walk in. There's a table there where they scan your ID. Again, very pleasant woman there that day. I can't remember her name. But very, very friendly. Again, it's just, I know a guy that's like, I won't go to one because I don't want, them to have my shit on file, and I'm like, dude, like they have your shit on file. They've had your shit on file for a long time. And you're like an old school deadhead.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're an old school deadhead. They've had your shit on file for a long time. Like, so, like it's the norm. And then you just walk in and, with Joe's, you walk in and it's kind of open. You have the counter. Do you have product out for people to see over on like the left side of the store?
Yeah. So when you walk straight is the counter, and that's where you check out and you can talk to people there. But if you go to the left and kind of meander around, there's an area, and so there's the flower, and then there's separate areas for like edibles and tinctures and different things. One thing that we did that we found to be different, at least when we were setting up, we didn't see a lot of other places doing this, is instead of setting up the flower and everything by distributor, which we saw at a lot of places, we separated the flower by indica, sativa, and hybrid, and just had all the mixed together. So we do have actual product and you can see it, and it's kind of cool. And there's like little flashlights at the table, so you can just, get a sense of what things look like.
So have either of you guys seen it only ran for one season, but Disjointed on Netflix with Kathy Bates?
No.
So it's like a half-hour comedy kind of thing. Kathy Bates is a lawyer, but she's like an old hippie from the 70s who has her own dispensary.
Whoa,
and
I
it's
gotta
about
see
it was super funny. I absolutely like their security guard, like the guy who scans the ID is like this Iraq war veteran, And then like her son, who's like a mulatto guy, is like very, very like kind of like uptight. And then you have like the complete burnout dude who grows the buds in the back, and like the pot plants like talk to him like through his mind because he's always like it's really. And then there's like this karate guy that, because they're in like one of those little strip mall things. So then there's a karate guy next door who like, weed is bad, drugs suck. Like he's like that guy from.
I picture the guy from Napoleon Dynamite when you say that.
Actually, he very much vibes of that. So like that's what I envisioned for the kind of dispensary I would like. There's couches like set, like people can like go hang out. So like and I'm not gonna say what it is because like I've gone to the place, I like the place, like they have good stuff, but I felt a disconnect. So like you scan your ID, you could come in, and there's a person like sitting there at a little podium, and they're like, "What do you want?" And they type it into the iPad, and then they're like, these are it. Like it's not like she knows, but oh, dude, you should go try this. Like it's that, and then like they have like a website. You can order for pickup. You go, you walk in. I have found the cashiers are extremely friendly, like sit there and chop it up with you and like talking and everything. But it's like there's nobody like, hey man, like what kind of bud are you into? Or like, hey, you want the vaporizer, you want flour, you want like there's nobody like that. It's like you kind of like go in and like when you're on the floor, nobody's really talking to anybody. It's just these very big, loud like advertisements of like broken into brands, like, oh, this is the Tikal Method Man bud, this is this over here. And it's like when I went in there, I wanted more of like that, like kind of like what Todd was describing going into your place of like, hey, how's it going? What are you looking for today? Oh yeah, let me tell you, I tried this lemongrass that was awesome, and I think you'll really, really like it. There was none of that. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah,
that's what we've been trying to do, and like we've been, and we let the the bud tenders try different things out, and like we try to encourage them to be authentic. And I think for the most part, like that's how it's been from when I'm there, and they're able to see what people really want, because you want people to have a good experience. And I mean, even if like let's say something's on sale or a better deal, like I'd rather have the bud tenders try to get somebody out the door feeling like, okay, I got a deal. We're not just trying to get them to spend the most money, because I think cultivating those sort of relationships and experience will, like, if as a customer I look at it like, how would I feel? I'd be like, okay, cool, I'll come back. Like these people are actually trying to get me to get something that I would want, rather than just like, oh yeah, here's the biggest like profit margin, or here's the biggest like whatever. So yeah, like and if we don't have something, we could maybe we have something similar, or maybe this other place has it, or whatever. Just trying to be authentic with people.
Yeah, well, that's nice too. You split things up as strain, indica sativa hybrid, because obviously when we were growing up, weed was weed. You didn't know any of the shit,
You
like
got what you got.
Schwags, mids, fucking beasters, or kind bud. Like that's what you got. Occasionally you would have some dank shit roll around, but nobody's like, yo man, check out this Northern Lights, it's a great indica, you want to smoke it before you go to bed. Like that didn't happen in the 90s. It was just, hey, here's some really good expensive ass weed, what do you want? Like cool, man, I'll fucking smoke it and get wasted. But now too, and people honestly, like, I mean, people care about brands as they come to know them. But, if somebody just walks into a dispensary and it's like, you know what, I really want a sativa, they're going to, in my opinion, want to look at the sativas. They're not going to want to try to dig it out through every single, vendor that is carried there. They're going to want to look over and be like, oh, sweet. All right, so here's the sativas. And, hey, that one looks really good. It's, blah, blah, blah by so-and-so. I want to grab that. So to me, that's awesome you do that, because I think a lot of people start to shop like that now, especially if they don't know strains, but they know the type they want. It's a lot easier to walk in and be like, oh, okay, so hey, that indica, oh, that fucking looks frosty. That looks really good. Look at the fucking hairs on that. Like I want to try that one, and so yeah, no, that's a cool way to set it up, because you're right. Most places it is by, vendor or whatever you want to call them, is just to come in and be like, all right, well, I just took 10 minutes to look through those and there was nothing I wanted,
I think it's because Yeah, and I think a lot of the vendors sort of drive that, which I understand. They sort of encourage dispensaries to set up like, okay, we want to have our display like this and like that. So I understand like why it's good for the vendors.
See, and like with me personally, like I am like brand loyal. If I find a brand in anything that I like, I'll stay loyal for it. For example, like one of the disposable ones I got was an heirloom one. So like
I love heirloom.
And so me being how I am, like real bad ADHD, I research stuff. And then I realized heirloom is actually Beacon Skiff. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a local place. Like I've taken my kids there. Like, so now that makes me brand loyal to heirloom because they're, even though they're millionaires in their own right, like, but it's a local brand. Yes. Yep. Heirloom, yep.
Actually, one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I tried their Pineapple Express one with fantastic apple fritter, fantastic. They had what was it? Alaskan Thunderfuck, I think it was. That was great. Well, yeah. And the other thing I want to put out there for you, Joe, I know you're probably a little worried to ask us, but if you ever need me and Todd to product test for you, or if you want, send us something that you want us, if you want to send us something to try try on the show, then you clip it up and you can post it on the site. And we can give our real honest review. We'd be willing to do that for you at no charge at all.
Oh my gosh, that's so generous.
It's a free service. We are totally willing. And Todd, I don't mean to speak for you, but I think you're choo-choo on this train with me. Okay? Like I think, right? Like so anytime, Joe, don't even hesitate to ask. Just we'll give you our addresses. Send us whatever you want.
Well, for any law enforcement watching, I'm not going to mail it through the mail.
That's true.
But
we'll go pick it up. We'll pick it up.
We'll figure out a way to legally make the exchange. That's awesome. All right, I'll probably take you up on that.
Ooh.
Yeah, let us know.
I like
we will not deny that shit.
At all.
Give a stamp of approval.
So what do we got next time?
We got some Carlin quotes to wrap it all up.
All right.
So I'm getting close to the end, unfortunately. I think I'm on page like 12 of 15. And there's a lot, but some are like paragraphs, and I'm like, I just can't do that. So I stick. But we are rounding the bend. But here are some Carlin quotes. He just makes you think sometimes. Cigarette companies market heavily to young people. They need young customers because their product kills the older ones. It is the only product that, if used as intended, kills the consumer.
Damn.
Wow.
That's right.
It's fucked, but it is like, it's like, holy shit. I get tired of people talking about bad words and bad language. Bullshit. It's the context that makes them good or bad.
It's true. Like, I could say, Todd, fuck you. You're a fucking piece of shit. Or you're a fucking fuck. Or I could be like, Todd, you're a fucking fuck, dude. You know what I mean? I'm saying literally the same sentence, but it's how I say it.
Exactly. In some company.
Anal!
In some company, it's perfectly all right to prick your finger, but very bad form to finger your prick.
In some company,
if you're gonna finger it, you might as well grab it. Like, come on. Like, what's the point? Don't poke the bear.
No. I don't own any stocks or bonds. All my money is tied up in debt.
Same.
And the last one is when I hear about parents who have 9 or 10 children, the only thing I wonder is how they survive the birthday parties.
Yeah, Joe, how do you survive the birthday parties? It's kind of a fitting quote for today.
I know. Oh God, yeah. There's like birthday party circuits, Joe. I'm sure you've been, when your kids are a little younger, probably phasing out later elementary school. But like, there's times when like every other weekend there's some birthday party you got to bring your kid to. And
dude, there used to be days where there were multiple birthday parties in like one day, and thankfully, my oldest, he'll be 14 this year, and my youngest, he'll be 10 this year. And last year, even my youngest was like, yeah, I don't want a party. And where did we go? We did something. I don't remember what. Football game? No, we took him to a baseball game over the summer. That's what it was. It was both. So, yeah, it was both their birthday present for this year. It just came early. Yeah, we took them to the Braves-Yankees game down at the Yankee Stadium.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a fun time. Yeah, last time when my son turned 12, we took him and just a couple of friends and like went to the aquarium because he's like big into fish. And
now, was this which your 12-year-old is? Which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10?
Now he became the true middle child. So for the longest time we had 4 kids. Now he's the third. So he's like the truly forgotten one going forward.
So how old's your oldest?
18.
And you have a newborn.
So 18, 15, 12, 8, and 0.
Do you enjoy, like, what's the word? Sadist? Yeah. Are you a sadist?
Apparently.
Because like, so I just turned 40 like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I always told my fiance, I was like, you have till 40, because she doesn't have any kids on her own. You have till 40, and then
you gave her like a window of time to make it.
So for like the last like 4.5 years, like she's had 4.5 years, and we have not had a child. So like I told her, nope, it's not happening, because I couldn't do it. Like, to go back to diapers now, I couldn't do it, man. Like you have my. No wonder you own a fucking dispensary. Like,
I gotta just have all the side hustles I can get, like 2 businesses.
Nah, man, you're just constantly just. He's got the heirloom right there at the desk with him, just in preparation for the day. Like, okay, 5 of them. Oh, you got to take 10 more.
If I'm like trying to yell at one of my kids, I gotta like cycle through all the names before I get the right one. I'm like, Jason, John, Eric, like, you know. Then I yell at the right one finally.
He takes 10 milligrams per kid that's at home at the time. Like, 5? Let's pop that 50, baby. Let's go.
Oh, that's great.
So no Stump Joe this week? You could have stumped Double Joe, Todd.
Yeah, I was a little behind. I slacked a little bit. It's been a long week.
Yeah, I feel you, dog. I've been off all week, but it's still been a long week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It like I never truly feel like I actually get a real vacation. Ever.
Yeah, did you do anything fun on your week off?
I got laundry done. Royal Rumble was last weekend. Super Bowl's this weekend. I
don't think you put laundry in the same categories, though.
You ask my fiance, the fact that I got my laundry done is like a huge thing. Like, because I come from, and like I don't even like put them in drawers. I hang up most of like my stuff, and like my perspective is I'm going to wear it, and then it's going to end up in the hamper. Why do I have to go? So I had like a area of clothing, or I just leave it down in the laundry room, and as I go down, dirty clothes go in the dirty pile, clean clothes go on my body, and she don't like that much.
Do you have a middle ground? Do you guys have this? Like I have a group of clothing that they're not really dirty, but they're not really clean. Like and then I put it in the separate pile. And
those stay in the bathroom. Like that's mostly like jeans for the most part. Because I don't like I'll wear jeans at least 3 times before like summertime. Like pants get changed because you're a little bit more sweaty. Wintertime, if there's no salt at the bottom of my leg, bro, those jeans are good to go.
Yeah. Same with like for me, like hoodies too, especially if I'm like, I wear it for a little while and I'm done for the day.
So I've been wearing this probably at least every like 3rd day. And every time I wear it, at least 3 or 4 people will be like, yo, you got your own dispensary now? They're like, no, it's one of my sponsors. And actually something that, I'll mail out to the store. We got a bunch of stickers with the QR code made.
Cool.
So I can send a bunch out to the store to leave out the store so people can like take them with them if they want.
Yeah, nice.
But we have been going for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
dinner in the
Joe,
crock pot.
anytime you want to come back on, anytime you want to make announcements, anything that you're doing, anytime like you're off, we're off, and we want to all do a taste test together. Last year for 420, me and Todd pre-recorded a 420 show that came out at 4:00 on April 20th, and 20 minutes into the show, we smoked. So we smoked on. So if I'm Todd, I'm sure you're okay with this. Tell me no if you don't want them. No, never mind, Joe. No, forget I said anything.
Fuck you, Todd.
But we just talked like it's us talking about our experiences with the cannabis plant, how good, bad, all that, and even though we touched upon a lot of it today, I feel like you have a very, very unique perspective on the matter.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it, and I'd love to come back on.
So, knock, 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 bitches.
Knock, knock, yo. Joe's Buds.
Bye, nerd.